Destiny, keep deplatforming Nick because you are terrified of him, LOL. DM leak time. DM leak. Wee wee.
Destiny is still an activist who has told me to my face, I want you to not succeed. Your movement is completely opposed to my project, and I want to convert your followers into my followers, and I want your movement to fail.
That's half true. We are ideologically opposed to some extent, and I don't really want his movement to succeed. The feeling, though, is mutual. I don't think he really wants my movement to succeed either. I mean, that's true. On the second thing, I don't usually ever talk about converting followers. That's stuff that you guys are obsessed with. But if at the end of the day, if I didn't convert a single cozy follower, and instead I just made them all like a little bit more considerate or less radical towards other points of views, I'm actually totally okay with that. So it's very rare that I will ever say this on stream. I'll be more transparent than normal, and I won't repeat this often, so feel free to make conspiracies. I'm not actually... Destiny, keep deplatforming Nick because you are terrified of him, LOL. What do you think I'm... How am I deplatforming it? He can jump onto chat literally whenever he wants. I am the most platforming person in the world. How can you accuse me of deplatforming anybody? What are you talking about?
I want to talk a little bit about Destiny.
That's me.
So if there's any DGGers out there, the DGGers, the Destiny gang, they're going to want to watch this one. And anybody that's been following the Destiny Fuentes feud, friendship, the loving best friendship, but also rivalry, but also the feud. There's been a little bit of drama lately over one of Destiny's friends who got flagged down on YouTube. Some have accused me of being responsible.
Nobody accused Nick, to be clear. The accusation was about groypers that were watching the stream and then reporting it. That was the accusation. Nobody's accusing Nick.
And so Destiny reviewed my show from last night today on his stream. And I want to review his review of my show tonight on this stream later. So that's going to be our other story. I'm going to review that. It's a casual Friday. You know, it's more of a low-key show. Hang on, I think I got a sneeze coming. All right, okay, we're good. So it's a casual Friday. It's a low-key, chill, relaxed show. So we'll do a little content review, and I want to react to the clip. And in case people, I don't know if I want to get all into it, because I can't really introduce it without explaining the whole thing. And I don't want to explain it twice. But basically, his buddy, MrGirl, got his channel banned on YouTube. Destiny is blaming that on me.
No, I'm not!
And now he's trepidatious to continue talking to me because of that. And I said on my show the other night, I said, well, that just doesn't even make any sense. I said, and that sounds like a convenient excuse to ice what's been going on lately, which is that we've been talking to Sneako, and we've been talking to Destiny and other creators. I said, you know, me and Destiny were supposed to have a big debate on Tuesday, and that he just sort of quietly backed out of that.
I didn't quietly back out of it. We literally talked about it on the stream. Also, in that same stream, he literally himself admitted, he's like, oh yeah, I haven't even started doing any research on that either. He said the same shit.
And he's telling Sneako these things and other people, and it really doesn't even make that much sense. He's saying that, well, his friend got reported by somebody on my site, and we don't even know that that's why the friend got banned, but that's what's being insinuated.
Wait, this is such a weird rewriting of history. It's like the Trump shit. But like, I could be wrong, but I don't know if Nick can get away with this because his fans are watching us interact. We literally all saw the call that I had with him and Big Tech, where Big Tech is talking about how, like, yeah, I'll report people and shit. There was that huge fight in their community over whether or not they should mass flag people. How can you pretend that, like, that this didn't happen? Mate.
And somehow that implicates me. Somehow I'm responsible for that. And that's why he can't debate me on the JFK assassination. I don't know that any of that adds up. But so we talked a little bit about that on the Super Chat section last night. And Destiny responded to that. I essentially said that that's a convenient excuse to bow out of the debate, which I think it is. And I think that if you look at the details, his story just doesn't really quite fit with the facts. And we'll go through that and review some material tonight. And I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to tell you where I'm coming from. on that because apparently he was offended that I said that he was being dishonest. I said, you know, look.
Why did he make a 2-hour responsive video? Well, he's not making videos. He's just doing a show, and then people clip the video up, and then they post it on YouTube, right?
It's a little bit of a dishonest. It seems like a ploy, essentially. And he seemed a little bit offended by that for me to say that he was being dishonest, but we're going to review some other clips. He's basically been calling me a liar since we began this whole thing. I think it's very rich.
Why can't... no. I hate it when... Okay, so Fuentes has the capability of being an interesting person to engage with. Because I think he's relatively intelligent. I think he's pretty sophisticated when it comes to his political understanding. That's fun. But, like, he has, like, a second mode, which is, like, propaganda mode. And I understand it's because he's talking to his audience. You got to sell the things for his audience, blah, 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 blah. But it's so much more boring. And, like, this is, like, almost not even worth watching.
Basically been calling me a liar since we began this whole...
I'm not calling Nick a liar. You can't say I'm basically calling Nick a liar. What I'm saying is that our obligations for the type of discourse that we're pursuing is far different, right? You are the head of a political movement. I'm just a guy on YouTube that like has my beliefs and values that I try to like adhere to that can be flexible. They can change over time. Or I shouldn't say they're flexible. What I would say is they're not unyielding. They're prone to pressure and can be changed given sufficient rationale to do so. Whereas for yours, probably not as much. But I mean, like, I don't even know if Nick would disagree with that. Like, do you think the head of an ideological movement is a little bit more prone to audience capture or a little bit more subject to being beholden to the views of their movement than like a guy like me who's just like a dude that posts videos? The answer to that is almost certainly yes. Now, if you want to boil it down to like, oh, well, you're saying that I have the higher propensity to lie. Yeah, sure. I kind of am, in a way. But like, I expect you to have a more sophisticated engagement with that statement than just saying I'm calling you a liar. That's boring. I'm not just saying you're a liar. I'm not just calling you a liar. That level of engagement is just... It's just boring. That's not true. I'm saying more than that. You know that.
Whole thing. I think it's very rich. You know, I've been reviewing some of the posts on the forum, and I've been reviewing some things on Telegram, and you know, I said last night, look, he's saying that, but he doesn't really mean it. He's saying that because.
Okay, hold on. Someone is. So some of you guys are probably Grubber, so I'll respond in chat because you're here. To pretend you don't have an ideological movement when you clearly do, everyone does. I'm assuming you're accusing me of pretending. So to phrase your argument is you're saying that you're trying to have this air of neutrality, Destiny, when in reality, you're just as ideologically driven as anyone else. You're just pretending to be neutral when you're not. So what I could point to is that like there have been some major policy positions or ideological positions that I have shifted on throughout the past 5 years in massive ways. So things like my position on lobbying or like on Citizens United or things like free education or whatever. There's a lot of positions that have like been shifted over time because I've been presented with really compelling philosophical arguments or really compelling data-driven arguments, I guess you could say, relating to these things. I don't think that you can look at the totality of my positions and the history that I've been doing like this type of content and say, oh, Destiny, like you'll never change your stance on anything. That's not true. That's just not true. If you believe that, you haven't engaged with any of my like material, which is fair also. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to. Like not everybody does, but.
He's got this ulterior motive. He wanted to get on.
Your race and IQ views are the complete result of dogmatic belief, not open-minded. Please watch. Again, you can say that, but my whole stream and we sat through like a week of Stanford lectures, of that Stanford human biology series with Sapolsky, where we did a lot of research and everything for that. I came away with a much better understanding of like genes, genetics, I'll just say genetics, I guess, in general. But the idea that like I did a ton of research and I was just ideologically motivated the whole time, or I wasn't willing to engage honestly with anything, that's just not true. Like the only way you can say that is if you just don't have any engagement with my material. Like that's it. Like you just don't know. But the idea that like I should have went in and then come out as like, oh, well, obviously race, realism, and IQ is like, well, it's, 80% heritable. That describes all the difference, blah, 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 blah. It's just not true. And I've gotten a ton of people that have emailed me, a ton of researchers, some people that have published stuff, like giving me all of this information. It's a really complicated topic. That's my honest engagement with the subject. I'm sorry if you want me to take like a really hard stance on like blacks are dumb or whatever shit. That's troubling a little bit. But like, you're like, oh, well, you're just afraid to commit to a position. I'm not afraid to commit to his position. It's just a really complicated complicated subject. Like, even on the differences between men and women, which are biologically different, absolutely. Even on that, I don't usually commit to hard stances because I've seen firsthand, you can do the musician example, there's a lot of huge differences between the genders where it's hard to figure out like how much is environmentally driven versus how much is biologically driven. If I'm not even gonna take a hard stance between men and women, how the fuck am I gonna take a hard stance on something like IQ between races? Again, like, I'm sorry if you're like, not to contradict you, but just 2 days ago, you said you are not sure if you got anything from that lecture because you feel like you understand less after the lecture. Okay. Let me rephrase these things. I think sometimes I use some phrases, and I think they're confusing to people because I'm trying to be a combination of humble and elucidatory, but elucidatory? That's not a real word. I'm trying to make you aware of something, and I'm trying to be humble, but maybe it just sounds confusing. I've got a lot of information from watching the Sapolsky stuff. I think I've learned a lot more about genetics and a lot more about a whole bunch of stuff tangential to that. What were they called? GWASs. There's so much information related to how we do like genetics research and how we compare populations, all of that. I get a lot of information on that. When I say I feel like I understand less now than I did going into it, when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that like, I watched it, I didn't understand anything, and now I don't even understand less. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, wow, there is a plethora of information here relating to so many different topics in this area that I know a lot more now, but I'm also way more aware of how much I don't know. There were a lot of things in that bio lecture that like blew my mind. For instance, the fact that you can have traits that are passed down from generation to generation to generation that aren't even related to your genes at all, that aren't even considered, I don't even believe they're considered epigenetic. That's really crazy to me. Like the Dutch hunger famine is the thing that gets brought up. Person develops metabolic syndrome, they get pregnant, fetus is starved, that fetus develops metabolic syndrome as a result of that, they have children, and now you've got a trait that is being passed down 100% biologically from family member to family member to family member that's not genetic whatsoever. They did the experiment with the rats where you can inject a lot of cortisol, stress a rat out. As a result, that shrinks like, is it a pituitary gland or something in the fetus? It grows up more prone to stress, and it'll have children that are more prone to stress, and they'll have children, and that's like a trait that can be passed from generation to generation biologically, or that might be considered epigenetic. I have to go and look, but like that's not considered like a genetic thing. There's not like a gene for that at all. There were a lot of different areas that we, and then the differences between like hereditary, the difference between like heritable traits. How you even determine what is a heritable trait is like a massively controversial field because any trait controlled for enough will inevitably approach 100% heritability. Like the variables you try to control for. Reading about the complications between like the Minnesota twin studies and how adoption studies are hard because adoption environments are far different than normal environments. The idea that environmental changes to a biological organism don't start after birth; they start in the womb. That's an environment. A womb can be an environment where different diets for like the moms can influence the way that fetuses develop. They can have long-lasting effects post-birth. There's a whole bunch of shit that I learned through watching that series. All the different evolutionary strategies, the different tit-for-tat strategies. There's a whole bunch of shit that we learned through all of this. So when I come out of that and I go, wow, I feel like I know even less than I did before, I don't literally mean like, I didn't learn anything. What I mean is that like, damn, this field is really fucking complicated. And when somebody wants to swing one study at me and go, oh, look, I know that this group of people is genetically less intelligent than this group of people. No, that's not an honest engagement with the subject matter. I don't believe that. Anyway, backing out of learning how unimportant DNA is and how complicated DNA is, and the idea that like RNA is what's in charge of like figuring out like how cells function or whatever, and like the idea that junk DNA might not even be junk DNA, and all the different transcription factors and everything related to how RNA chooses like what to replicate and which proteins. There's all sorts of crazy shit. That's it. Okay, I'm done. Okay, there's lots of crazy shit. It's really complicated. When I say that I feel like I know less than I did before, that's what I mean. I mean, there's a lot of crazy shit coming out of that. Okay, Jesus. But, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. But when somebody comes out and they're like, you're ideologically driven, fuck you, okay? How many research streams has Fuentes done, okay? Fuck you.
The debate he sees the way things are going and maybe he's not too happy about it. And he retorted and said, well, you can't, I'm being honest. You can't say I'm being dishonest. Of course, if anything, you're being dishonest. Well, then I go back, and not only do I not believe that, and I'll tell you why later based on the clip, but also, I went back and I looked at the Sneako panel where it's me, Destiny, Sneako, Jidion, and all these other characters, and the guy's calling me a liar throughout the entire debate. So that's pretty rich.
There were parts that I do feel like Fuentes absolutely misrepresented. Now, he can deny that he misrepresented them, but so, for instance, like why people have an issue with him, I tell this to everybody, okay? And I think I mentioned this last night on stream. If somebody says, why do people not like you? And I'm talking to other people, and I'm saying things like, oh, I think people don't like me because I'm a truth sayer. That's bullshit. That's not true. There are lots of good reasons why people don't like me. And I'll be honest about those. He wasn't. And that's what I was pushing him to hold him to account on. So, but I mean, like, he can pretend that, like, that's upsetting or whatever, but.
I mean, literally throughout the debate, saying that I'm a liar, everything I say is a lie, everything I say is coded language, and so on. So that's fine. You know, that's just what people do, I guess. But I come back and say, yeah, you backed out of the debate and you made up an excuse. And suddenly, oh, you can't call me a liar. You know, I'm engaging in good faith. Okay, well, you know, that's not really fair. So we'll go through all that. Drama
alert.
Content. That'll be our second story, featured story. So we're going to review this clip from Destiny's stream. And I want you to let me know what you think about it. The other day, I got a super chat on my show where, so it's going to be me reacting to Destiny, reacting to my show.
Oh, boy. We're going one level deeper, baby.
Last night on my show, well, I guess we got to start from the beginning. Me and Destiny have had this thing going on where we're debating each other, we're hanging out, we're talking to each other. It's very interesting and all that. And recently, he's had this friend of his named MrGirl, who's this, like, Jewish nutcase. MrGirl's been coming on Destiny's stream. He's a friend of Steven's. MrGirl comes on the Destiny stream and says, you are being irresponsible platforming.
Hold on. He literally says in the manifesto vid that people don't like him because he's mean, judgmental, and an asshole. Is Fuentes saying that? Because if that's so, that's not true. That's not why people don't like him. People don't like him because he's been associated with very, very, very far-right views, and some of which have come from him. The Holocaust revisionism/denialism, the strangely kind of racist comments that leaked, a lot of his actual positions on things like immigration to the United States and having non-white majorities here. Like, there are reasons. Now, you might argue that he's right or whatever, so these are probably more the reasons that people don't like him as much as they do, rather than just he's mean or an asshole, okay? Come on.
Fuentes, you should not be hanging out with him. He is a Nazi. He wants to kill people. He wants to kill my family.
I never said that nobody should be hanging out with him. I'm not here to deplatform Fuentes. Otherwise, I would just spam Sneako and I'd say, like, Sneako, don't have this guy on. Don't have this guy on. Don't have this guy on. I didn't do that. I just said, hey, if he's going to be on, I like to be there too. That's it. He can be on. I'm not here telling anybody not to platform somebody or telling anybody not to host somebody. Oh, he's quoting Max. Oh, gotcha. Wait, well, hold on. Even Max isn't saying that then.
Friend of Steven's. MrGirl comes on the Destiny stream and says, you are being irresponsible platforming Nick Fuentes. You should not be hanging out with him. He is a Nazi. He wants to kill people. He wants to kill my family.
Oh, no. You should not be hanging out with him, probably in real life. Okay, I think we can read that as pretty true. Okay.
You are being...
To be clear, though, MrGirl did say that he wanted Fuentes back on YouTube, but maybe he's speaking here just in terms of, like, hanging out with him in real life.
Irresponsible platforming Nick Fuentes. You should not be hanging out with him. He is a Nazi. He wants to kill people. He wants to kill my family. You have no business being friendly with him. Every conversation, you need to be talking about what an evil person he is and interrogating him about it. And Destiny's been arguing, well, Nick's not a Nazi, and I'm not going to shout him down. You catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. You know, basically, I'm going to bring over his audience and persuade more people by being hospitable and empathetic than if I'm being weirdly hung up on calling him a Nazi or something. So Steven has been arguing. And so a couple days after that stream, MrGirl's YouTube channel got taken down. And I said, oh, LOL, you know, your channel got banned, owned. And I'll even show you the tweet. I want to pull it up here, if I even can, because Twitter is so bullshit on if you don't have an account. Let's see. That's it. That's not it. Is it MrGirl Returns? Okay. So this is what started it all off. MrGirl, Max, Destiny's friend, tweets out, "Dear YouTube, after publicly criticizing the Nazi Nick Fuentes this past week, my channel has been masked."
So to be clear, this isn't what started it off in my mind. What started it off in my mind was August sent me some messages. Let's see, how did this go? DM leak time. DM leak. Wee wee. So I think I'm out of town here, right? Was I out of town on the 1st or 2nd? Oh yeah, I was hanging out with a good friend in LA. August sent me a message. He said, "Who do you think is brigading MrGirl's YouTube?" And then I responded, "What do you mean? Is he getting lots of views or do you mean negative comments?" And then he says, "I mean mass flagging his channel and getting him banned there." And then I said, "Wait, did he get banned or do you mean just his songs got removed?" And then he said his channel got nuked, and then he links me his channel, and I say, "Wait, holy shit." And August says, "I'm like 70% sure it's Groypers." And then I asked, "Are there any chat logs or anything?" And August says, "No, just gut instinct. LOL, do we have DGG psyops in the Groyper ranks LeMayo?" And I said, "Wait, what's going on, or what is this in reference to?" And he's like, "Well, do we have like weird stuff going on, like DGG psyops?" He asks about this or whatever. And I said, "I don't think so. I get emails from Groyper people." And then August says, "I watched your second debate with MrGirl through the Groyper point of view because Nick was on some guy called Veda's stream, and they were talking about the debate and watching it. It was a stream where MrGirl did the impromptu rap, and then they started watching MrGirl's songs on stream. And then August links me a picture of them. Here you go. This is what he sent me on Discord. I guess he sends me a picture of them going through their looking at some of his songs. You can see on the right where people are saying, like, that one person's like, allowed on YouTube, by the way. So once he showed me this, and then I came home, and then I started reading through the Reddit threads, and then I saw like the big tech clip, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks like it is gone. That's okay. Way to go. Way to go, buddy. Yo, let's get some more reporting, please.
Oh,
Let's keep reporting.
keep reporting.
Report our enemies. Report every video from our enemy. Report Jaden. Report RPG. Report BPF. Report DACA. F them. Report. Spam. I've done it a few times. Do mass reportings.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like they started like, it sounds like people were looking through his channel and people started like spam reporting him and shit. That's where I came up with the Groyper idea. This was before, like, I didn't talk to Max ever about this. I didn't know what his stance was or anything on this before I came to my conclusion. And none of this started in my head with like Max's tweets, but.
Flagged as sexual content, and one day I received 3 strikes for videos that are 1 to 3 years old. You've rejected my appeal. Please reinstate me. Do not let them win. Max. Now that's the first tweet. And he says, he doesn't even have any evidence for this. He says, well, I publicly criticized Nick, then my channel got mass flagged. I got strikes because my channel was mass flagged. I appealed, you rejected my appeal. Now, this is what we get for openers, which, by the way, there is no foundation for any of this. Which means where's the connection between you criticize me and then your channel? Do we know that your channel got mass flagged? How do we know that's true? How do we know that your channel got mass flagged to begin with? Where's the evidence that it did get mass flagged? That's one. 2, where's the connection between, oh, he publicly criticized me And then because of that, he
So his channel most likely got mass flagged because if it's an older video that's being reported, I mean, somebody probably went and manually reported it. Like, that's pretty obvious.
got mass flagged. It's not here. There's no evidence of that. Then he says, well, I received a bunch of strikes then for 3-year-old videos. And he appeals, so he sends an appeal and says, hey, I got mass flagged. Can you reinstate me? They say no. Somehow that's all my fault. Now, why do I say he has no evidence? Because other things came forward later. But he's basically saying, I talked bad about Nick Fuentes, then I got banned and you rejected my appeal. Well, that's because I got mass flagged and they lied about me. It's like, well, we don't know that. Maybe a mass flagging occurred. Okay, maybe. How do we know that that was 100% because of you talking about me? How do we know that? We know that Big Tech flagged his channel. How do we know that Big Tech flagging his channel got it banned? We don't know that.
Like, okay, that is true. That is true, right? You know, could all just be a big old coinkadink.
And if that was the case, why would it...
Now keep in mind, this guy needs less evidence to prove fucking JFK conspiracies or 9/11 conspiracies, but but this is just a big coincidence, which it could be.
his channel not be reinstated after the appeal? What would the appeal being rejected have to do with any of that? That just doesn't make any sense. Even if you were to assume that his channel got taken down because of a mass flagging campaign by a person on my website, well, then why did your appeal not work? Why did your appeal not get your, if it was a mistake,
This is also kind of annoying too, because like here Nick is, I think he's playing intentionally stupid. Where it's like, well, I mean, like, if it was fake report, then how could it get, like, banned? Like, shouldn't it come back? Like, obviously, you can get reported for all sorts of shit on social media. Like, come on, you know this. I don't know if his audience is aware that he's playing dumb here, or if they're all just kind of, like, memeing. I'm not actually sure. For speech like this, I don't understand it 100%.
it sounds like you broke the TOS. It sounds like you broke the TOS and...
Because, like, would Nick say that for all of his bans? Nick, you broke the TOS too? You broke the cardholder agreement for Visa or Chase or whatever, and that's why, like, I don't know.
Maybe because your channel was flagged by Big Tech, or maybe because it was flagged by other people, maybe because it was flagged before you did this, maybe after it, your channel got banned because you broke the TOS. And then you tried to appeal it, and YouTube reaffirmed it wasn't a mistake. It didn't get mass reported and taken down for a bad reason. It got taken down because we checked and you broke the TOS. Now, he doesn't even bring up the Big Tech stream. He says, this is the evidence. The evidence that my channel got banned because I talked about Nick, and then Nick's people mass flagged me, and then it got banned because of that mass flagging, and then the appeal got rejected because of that mass flagging. Here's the evidence for all that. A Telegram screenshot where I said, ratio this freak in the replies. Not that picture, this picture. There you go. How is that evidence? What's the foundation for what he said there?
If you're not aware of it, also, not that this goes to prove one thing or another at WhoFly's channel, but the picture that he's tweeting is like an anti-Semitic trope of like the smiling, like greedy Jew or whatever. I don't know if you guys are aware of these memes or not, but.
And I'll explain the relevance of all this in a moment. But this is what you need to understand. Max goes on the Destiny stream and says, you can't talk to Nick Fuentes the way you've been talking to him. You're too friendly. He's evil. He wants to kill people. He wants to kill my family. He's going to be the next Hitler. He has to be stopped at any cost. Then he gets banned on YouTube and says, oh, that was Nick's fault. I got mass flagged. It wasn't fair. I talked about Nick. Then I got flagged. The two are related. Well, I appealed and it got rejected. But, what's the explanation for that? What's the evidence that the two are related? Well, that I told him to ratio this tweet.
Skirt. Quick detour for 2-second gym discussion. I don't know why these things exist. They can't cost less than a power rack or that much less. The bars on the side aren't adjustable. So if you're a shorter person like me and you actually squat for real and not the quarter squatting that fucking losers in the gym do, you can never use the bar here. So after you get the weight off, you gotta take like 15 fucking steps back until you're in the middle of the fucking floor to actually squat. None of the bars here, it's just annoying. Who uses this shit? These squat racks are trash. You can't bench press in them, so they're less versatile. Like, it's a cheaper power rack. Is it really that much cheaper? What's the difference in cost between some shit like this or a power rack? I don't believe that it's that much difference. I don't believe it. No fucking way. No shot.
The evidence that I got his channel banned is that I told people to post a picture in reply to his tweet after he had gotten banned. So make that one make sense. You got banned, you blame it on me, you tweet about how you got...
I wonder if Fuentes is like Vosh, where he kind of like runs down all of his arguments and everything prior to stream this, so that he's kind of got like everything lined up beforehand. I'm pretty curious about that.
Banned because of me, and you say the evidence that I got you banned is that I replied to your tweet saying that I got you banned. How does that make any sense?
Not being able to bench press is a feature. It means you don't compete with bench pressers for the rack. I think, I'm gonna be really biased here. People that bench in a squat rack are usually Giga Chads. They're chill. You can usually share shit with them. Because most people that are just like the crazy like arms bros, like the bench bros, those guys don't even know you can bench a power rack. I've been at plenty of gyms before where there's like 2 free racks and there's like 4 people standing around like waiting for a bench to clear. I think there's a lot of people that like only bench, like only push pull or only push push, and they don't even know that you can bench in a power rack. So I don't know.
That just doesn't work. Evidence that I got you banned in this thread is that I replied to you being banned. Okay.
Okay.
So,
got him.
In response to this, Destiny goes on a stream and pulls up Big Tech. Big Tech is a streamer on this website. And Big Tech did tell his audience to flag MrGirl, not Destiny. Big Tech told his fans to flag MrGirl. And so Destiny amplifies this thread and says, yeah, it's Nick's fault.
I never said it was Nick's fault!
And Destiny goes on a stream and says, Nick isn't really so free speech after all because the...
I'm saying that your community, you lead your community. Dude, I take a lot of responsibility for my community. So of course I expect you to take responsibility for your community too. Like I do the same shit with Vosh and anybody else that I get into arguments with. Yeah, of course.
Are flagging people. Now, I'm the leader of the Groypers, not Big Tech. This is a platform that doesn't have just Groypers on it. It has all kinds of people that have various levels of engagement with the Groypers. I wouldn't say that Big Tech is one that's very close. Big Tech has feuded with a lot of the Groypers, almost all of them, in fact.
Why is it being off-scene that matters? I don't know. Maybe he was worried chat would have triggered him. Maybe he just wanted to do like a super prepared segment. I'm not sure. I don't know why he did off-scene. I'm just really, really curious.
We also have people on here that aren't even Groypers. But Destiny's been going around saying, I can't engage with Nick anymore because his Groyper...
I didn't even say I can't engage with him anymore. For right now, I'm just cooling it. Seeing what's happening with MrGirl's channel and everything. Damn. Chill.
...are flagging my friends. He said, I'm engaging in good faith with Nick, but there have to be some rules. If I'm engaging with Nick... And the Groypers are flagging people I know, well, that makes me not want to engage. Conveniently, he says this the same week that we're supposed to have a debate about the JFK assassination. Conveniently, he says this the week that Sneako says he's going to get on Cozy. And he makes sure to tell Sneako about this. He makes sure to tell Sneako that, oh, Mr. Groypers flagged MrGirl. So conveniently, he's saying, well, I can't talk with Nick because someone on Nick's site flagged my friend. And now I understand in principle where he's coming from. I understand what he's saying, that if one side is flagging down the other side, that ceases to be a friendly engagement or something like that. I understand where he's coming from. I understand in principle what he's saying. I get it. But in light of what's been going on, I said on my show, and this is the clip that he reacted to, and we're going to react to his reaction.
Yes.
What I said is I think that's a convenient excuse. I think that Destiny sees the writing on the wall, which is that his fans like me, Sneako likes me, Sneako's going to get on Cozy, Sneako's going to bring a huge audience to Cozy. And Destiny is still an activist who has told me to my face, I want you to not succeed. Your movement is completely opposed to my project, and I want to convert your followers into my followers, and I want your movement to fail.
So, that's half true. Like, we are ideologically opposed opposed to some extent, and I don't really want his movement to succeed. The feeling, though, is mutual. I don't think he really wants my movement to succeed either. I mean, that's true. So that in one sense, that's kind of true. On the second thing, I don't usually ever talk about converting followers. That's stuff that you guys are obsessed with. I don't like to talk about this much on stream because you guys are cringe as fuck and it's just annoying for me to like navigate these waters. But if at the end of the day, if I didn't convert a single cozy follower and instead I just made them all like a little bit more considerate or less radical towards other points of views, I'm actually totally okay with that. If cozy like maintains its size or even gains a few members, but they at the end of the day they're like less intolerant towards other people or some of their rhetoric shifts a bit or some of their positions move a bit, I'm okay with that too. I think that's fine. But I mean, it goes without saying almost that any streamer that's influential, like is trying to spread their influence, probably wants more people to agree with them than the other side does. I don't think that's a very controversial thing to say. I mean, Fuentes, and if I have said this to Nick, I've said as much on the other end too, that obviously you want to convince my fans to follow you too. But there's not like, none of that is insidious. That's not like, I got him to admit in private that like, no, like obviously we're all pretty open to that. Like nobody's hiding any of this here.
And because of Sneako getting deplatformed, he's going to jump on my site. And because of these debates with Destiny, people are going to visit my site. It's going to help me. Now, again, I understand in principle what he's saying, but he's going to come on the show. He's going to come on his stream and say, well, the reason I can't follow through with this debate and the reason that I'm going to take a step back now is because someone on Nick's site flagged my friend. I just think that's weak. It'd be one thing if I said flag Destiny. I would totally agree. I would say you're right. If I got on my show and said Groypers flag Destiny, totally. If I got on my show and said Groypers flag MrGirl, I would also agree. I would also agree if Big Tech said Groypers flag Destiny. But it's indirect in both ways. It's like...
Okay, I'm going to feed into a little bit of conspiracy here. So it's very rare that I will ever say this on stream. I'll be more transparent than normal, and I won't repeat this often, so feel free to make conspiracies. I'm not actually 100% transparent when I argue with these other communities in terms of like what I want to happen, like things that I'm looking for successful indicators of like that my interactions are things that I want them to be. Now, there's a couple of people that I've spoken with off stream about this, so Supreme in chat might know, a couple other people in the chat might know, but I'm actually not super forthcoming or super public about a lot of what I'm kind of like looking at or what's going on. So I'll say that much. In response to, hold on.
Totally. If I got on my show and said Groypers flag MrGirl, I would also agree. I would also agree if Big Tech said Groypers flag Destiny. But it's indirect in both ways. It's like, and I wasn't a fan of it. I don't support what Big Tech did.
I'll be ultra transparent here in regards to this. Here's what I would like to see, okay? I want people on the internet to be against the deplatforming shit. I think it's cringe. I know for a fact, and Nick might refuse it, but I know for a fact because of certain communities that I'm in, some of which are relatively private, and because of the public conversations I've seen happening, Groypers before this event were pro-deplatforming. I know they were. There was a huge argument that Fuentes got in with Mr. Medicare over flagging shit. And I think the whole America First movement took a huge L in that engagement. And I think even they and some of the people that are big in that community are aware that it looked really bad on them, that it came across as really bad for them. But these guys fucking hate Mr. Medicare. I know that they hate Mr. Medicare. And I don't think that Mr. Medicare is going to get any of them to change their views or stances on it. So something that I would be happy with, and I don't like to say stuff like this publicly because unlike you guys who are like, oh, you got to force a concession, blah, blah, blah. It usually feels really cringe. You don't feel good conceding anything to anybody. One of the things that I'm looking for is I think it'd be really cool for the entire AF movement to be like, yeah, deplatforming is cringe, and we're not going to do that to anybody, including people that we're ideologically opposed to, including people that are trying to deplatform us. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. If I felt like it moved in that direction, or was at least moving in that direction, or had an impact, I'd be pretty happy with that. We're probably going to debate the JFK stuff at some point, just not right now because of the MrGirl stuff is really recent and because I need to do research on it. But that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for, is like a little bit of a shift in thought there. And I think that most of the AF people, the smarter people, kind of know that. And I think they might even know that that's kind of what I'm looking for. But it's not, again, I don't like the conspiratorial thought from Nick here. And you can kind of see how the conspiratorial thought dips into everything, not just his politics, but even in how he does personal relationships here. I am a very blunt and very open person about like 99% of the things that I do and people that I talk to on the internet. If I wanted to deplatform Nick, or if I didn't want to interact with him, I would just fucking say it. I've said it before, be like, oh, I'm not interacting with this guy anymore. This guy's weird. This guy's creepy, whatever. I would just do that. Like super duper easy. I don't need to invent excuses or be weird about it. Like, I don't have to do that at all. Like, it's so easy for me to do that, especially with somebody like Fuentes. Not only that, I wouldn't be sneaky about it because I would take a huge optics W for doing it. If I were to make a post on my subreddit, I'd be like, you know what, guys? I'm really stubborn sometimes, but I am receptive to feedback. And MrGirl coming on and talking my stream, combined with a couple other people, especially Roseverse, who made really good arguments, and a lot of you guys on the subreddit have made really good arguments. I think I'm kind of walking back my position on platforming Fuentes. The way that he's gotten able to publicly associate with figures like Sneako, gotten onto huge panels, and I think that the general uptick and excitement and like resurgence of his movement has kind of made me walk back my position on that. I'm gonna unban everybody that like had huge issues over the past month or two. We're gonna kind of do like a big reset, and I'm gonna try to step away from communities like this in the future. Like if I would have done a post like that, it would have been like 2,000 upvotes on my sub. Everybody would have been jerking me off. Destiny's so smart and wise. It's so cool that he's like open to feedback. It's so awesome that he's like it would have been the biggest optics of me. I could have jerked off for like 3 days for how much positive feedback I would have gotten about that post on my subreddit and the YouTube video I would have done on it. Maybe 2 videos on it. I could have milked the fuck out of that. So this would have been like the easy path forward. It would have been so easy. So I don't like him suggesting that like I'm doing some weird sneaky way to get rid of him. Why? I wouldn't be sneaky about it. I would be super open about it because I could milk the fuck out of it. One of the big problems when you become conspiratorial is that you lose the ability to not only see what's in front of you, but ironically enough, the more conspiratorial you get, the harder it is to see things that aren't in front of you. Because when it comes time to figure out like, well, how is this person acting if they aren't being truthful? A conspiracy-driven mind won't be able to put into place the pieces needed to try to explain stuff that they can't see. They're not even gonna be able to see the hidden shit. This is why conspiracy-driven minds are really bad. You can't see what's right in front of you, and you can't even see the real conspiracies because you're too fixated on other shit.
And I said that. I said that before. I said that after. I said that to his face on Destiny's stream. I said, I don't...
His point is that you're being sneaky to gain favor with his audience, not your audience, so your argument doesn't refute his? Why would I be sneaky to gain favor with his audience? If I was trying to grow my... that doesn't even make sense. If I'm trying to grow my fan base, I would just keep moving in the Sneako direction. I'm not trying to pull... The AFer audience is going to be probably pretty hardcore committed to... it's going to be pretty hardcore committed to Nick. I'm not going to be trying to peel off fans from there. Like, the amount of effort that I would have to go through to peel fans off from that is going to be really, really, really difficult. But...
I don't support that. I said, you've been good faith.
Why do you refuse to interact with him after he completely disavowed the MrGirl thing? I don't refuse to interact with him. He still messaged me. He messaged me this morning like 6 a.m. to play Valorant, but I was sleeping. It's not that I refuse to interact with him. Also, he hasn't told you guys this, which is really fucking annoying. Maybe he doesn't expect me to leak things, but there's people behind the scenes that are asking for his contact info and shit to potentially set up big debates that I've even traded with him. And he hasn't said that, and I don't want to blow my shit up because I know you guys are gonna hate me for it, but there's even stuff behind the scenes that I've like tried to connect him with. So he knows he's fucking lying when he says this shit, where I'm acting in ways where it would be totally opposite.
Not calling him out on his sick, disgusting beliefs in your own fucking community. And you're just, like, this is what's frustrating me. Why? Just why are you doing it?
Why don't you go and have a debate with him?
Okay, well, I will. If you could get me in contact with him in some way. I don't know if he uses Discord, if he's been banned, but I'd be more than happy to debate him on Holocaust revisionism, if he's interested.
Of what I would be trying to do if I was really trying to cut him off. He's super lying about it. It's really irritating, but...
I want to reciprocate the respect you've shown. But it's a little bit spurious to me. It's hard for me to believe that because someone who's peripherally associated on my website flagged somebody who is associated with Destiny, that me and Destiny can't have a good faith discussion. Something that someone else did to someone else prevents the two principals from engaging. I said, you know, I get...
How is it conspiratorial to just imply you're being dishonest? It's not like he's saying you're working with other people to do it, which is a pretty important part of a conspiracy. Words, man. Words. What are they? When I'm saying conspiratorial in this sense, so conspiracy kind of has like two meanings, really. So on one end, a conspiracy is like a secret thing that's going on that people don't want people to know about. Usually when people say conspiracy or like a conspiracy theory, that's usually what they're talking about. That's how I'm using it right now. Why is he being so conspiratorial about this? The other second meaning, or the legal meaning, or the more dictionary accurate definition, conspiracy is usually a secret plan involving multiple parties. When I'm saying he's being conspiratorial here, I don't mean that he thinks there's a secret plan. I mean that he thinks that I've got like some secret, like not a coordinating, but just I've got like secret or ulterior motives for everything I'm doing that I'm not being forthcoming about, which I don't think is true.
I know where he's coming from, but it just doesn't seem to me like a strong.
You said that you talked to Sneako in private. That guy is lying. Bro, I'm super open about everything. Sneako called me last night or 2 nights ago. I'm not gonna be able to find in the, like, I'm even hands off with my fucking wife in terms of her own personal development. I'm a very hands-off person. I like people to develop as they will. If you're gonna ask me for advice on something, usually what I'm gonna say is like, well, what do you believe? You know, do you think you're acting in accordance with the things you believe in? Do you think you're making the right choices? Okay, well then keep doing it. Well, if not, maybe reconsider. Even Sneako, I think, asks me a question here like, what should I do about my incel audience?
Heard of something called first principles?
No.
It's kind of like this concept of all of your answers for the content you want to do. Like, your first principles is like, I want to make some funny fucking...
So he's asking me, what should I do about my incel audience? That's his question to me, okay? This is my response. Now, if you're led to believe that everything Fuentes is saying about me is true, my response would be, oh, well, if you've got an incel audience, you need to start doing more content that's like center-left or left-leaning, and you need to fight against the incels in your audience so that you can get rid of them, because incels are bad, and they go against my progressive values, okay? That's what the answer I think you would expect me to give if you listen to like Fuentes' shit. Here's the answer that I give to him.
First principles position where like, this is my goal, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to put into the world. You have to know the answer to that. I'm sure you might have some inkling or some intuition of it, you've like explicitly thought about it. So you have to figure that out, and then from there will stem like all of your answers for the content you want to do. Like, your first principles is like, I want to make some funny fucking shit, and I want to like put that out in the world because I think I can do like funny content better than anybody else. And then, you know, you do these e-dates and chat gets riled up and shit. I think that's fine. It's funny, it's good, it's cool. You get a lot of views off it. You probably get super chats. You probably get people like trying to insult you with super chats. But if you're like, I want to put something like positive or beneficial into the world, I want to make sure that my content reflects what I believe, my audience reflects who I am, well, then you might want to like angle your content a little bit different and speak to those sections of your audience that you think are growing a little bit too quickly that you just with. Like, that's what you should do. You ask me, like, we have like totally different goals with the type of stuff that we do. So it's up to you to figure that out.
This is how I respond to everybody asking me career advice. So like, I don't appreciate the insinuation that I'm like behind the scenes trying to tell people, you can't platform this guy. I never give those answers. Even to Melina, and you can ask her because she even gets fucking irritated. Melina will ask me for like personal issues, like, what do you think I should do with this person? Do you think I'm approaching this? And I'll give her the same answer. Like, well, listen, you're fucking 24 years old. You're growing. You have to figure out like what's important to you. Blah, blah. She's like, well, I'm not trying to figure. I want to ask your opinion. It's like, I'm not here to give you my opinion. I'm not here to live your life for you. I'm not here generally to tell people what to do. I don't do that. That's just not my MO. I don't like to do that. I don't enjoy engagements like that. I'll tell people I can like guide you a little bit, or I can help you ask the right questions, but I'm not here to tell you how to live your life or tell you how to do your content. I just don't do that to anybody. Maybe I did in the past. Somebody's gonna link a video of me of like 4 years ago saying something, but yeah.
Argument. So I said, I think that he's being bad faith. I said, I think that that's a convenient excuse to tell Sneako, hey, maybe these guys reported you. They reported MrGirl. Maybe they reported you, which we didn't. And ice that. And then for him to bow out of a debate that we had scheduled for earlier this week on Tuesday. We had a debate scheduled on Tuesday at 8 o'clock, which he just ghosted. He didn't come out and say, I'm not doing the debate.
We did say we're not doing it. We had the talk after Big Tech. I don't know if anybody's a clip. I'm pretty sure we explicitly said, like, I'm not going to do that for now. I didn't just, like, not show up. I'm pretty sure we explicitly said that in that talk, didn't we?
He just pretended like we never scheduled it. And then I texted him and texted him and texted him and said, hey, are we on? Are we on? What time? You know, who's going to host it? Whatever. I didn't say all that. I said, hey, are we still on? I don't want to read DMs, but I think I said 3 or 4 times, are we still on for tomorrow? Are we still on for tomorrow? Are we still on for tomorrow? And he just didn't reply.
Hold on. I think he might have sent me one of these. Let me check. He sent me okay. There were 2 messages that he sent, but it was on September 4th. And I think was that the day that we spoke about it? Was that the day that we spoke on stream? Does anybody know? Yes? Okay. So he asked me twice. He said, are we still on for our JFK debate on Tuesday? but he's watching my stream as I'm talking about the MrGirl thing. And then I responding to him about like, Nick, here's a clip. People are calling for reports, blah, blah, blah. And then he asks again on that same day if we're still on. And then that night, then we have the talk that night. And then that's when I say that night, it's like, oh, you know, probably going to access for now or put this on ice for now. That was on September 4th. That's the only time he's messaged me for it. I'm looking through. I don't think he's ever, it was just those 2 times on that one day. It's not like I'm ghosting him day after day after day after day after. That's not true. It was just on that one day where I was covering stuff. But.
And then when I got on a stream, which he didn't invite me onto, when Big Tech flagged MrGirl, Destiny brought MrGirl on and Beardson on, but didn't invite me. And then I texted him and he ignored me while they were on the stream. And then only after I texted Beardson, who was on with Destiny, and said, hey, get me on, and Beardson said, hey, Nick wants on, did Destiny say, oh, okay. And then he texted me, oh, text Brittany to get on the call. So then I had to go and get Brittany to get me on the call. And then I said, hey, Destiny, are we still on for tomorrow? And he goes, oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, hold on. What did I say when he mentioned this?
But anyway, that's besides the point. So yeah, so there's that. But yeah, let me know about the JFK debate because I think it'd be interesting. But you know, I understand if you can't make it happen because of everything that's going on. But
yeah, we'll see. I got to do research for it, but yeah, I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I got to do research. I haven't started. No.
That's where we left off on this. He said, I understand if we can't do it.
But anyway,
and I said, yeah, I'll let you know. Which is where we're at on it right now. Like, again, it's probably a debate I want to do. Like, the research for the 9/11 was fun. Just not right now. And I think we had this scheduled for literally, like, the next day or something. Like,
that's besides the point. So, so yeah, so there's that. But yeah, let me know about the JFK debate because I think it'd be interesting. But, you know, I understand if you can't make it happen because of everything that's going on. But
yeah, we'll see. I got to do research for it, but yeah, I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I got to do research too. I haven't started. No, that's all I got for you. But hey, good talking as always.
Also, the reason why I told him, wait, what did he say? I told him to message Brittany because I think I was on Brittany's show.
On the call. Oh, okay. And then he texted me, oh, text Brittany to get on the, and said, hey, Nick wants on, did Destiny say, oh, okay. And then he texted on the stream. And then only after I texted Beardson, who was on with Destiny, and said, hey, get me on, and Beardson said, hey, Nick wants on, did Destiny say, oh, okay. And then he texted me, oh, text Brittany to get on the call.
It's not my show. I don't do any of this. Hold on. To be clear, I have never in my life ran from or denied Nick to join a call. I don't think I've ever done that, ever. Why would he... Wait, Destiny, didn't you say Nick wants to come on? I don't even remember. Did I say that? You said during the stream that you couldn't add people to the call. You said maybe, then didn't update him. You did say, why is Nick messaging me about this? I don't know why Nick is messaging me to come on this show, but...
Bring him on.
He's messaging you instead.
Well, because he's friends with Destiny, you can pull him in the call.
Wow, he's not... Is it because you're a girl, he won't be friends with you?
Yeah. Messed up, right?
Hey.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think I could even add people to call. But it was like Brittany's show or Brittany's call. But it's not like I was ducking him or didn't want him. I think. What did he say for this? He said. Are you gonna let me talk, or are you gonna let other people who aren't even gripers speak for me? And then I messaged him back and I said, message Brittany if you want on. And then he said, I don't have her Discord. You're the one that told her Nick wanted to join. Yeah, why is he acting like, why is he acting like I'm ducking him or don't want him to join? Obviously, I want him to join. I would want him to join right now if he wants to talk right now. If he's listening, you could join. I'm never like ducking convos with him. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of annoying, but.
So then I had to go and get Brittany to get me on the call. And then I said, hey, Destiny, are we still on for tomorrow? And he goes, oh, I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure. He had
No, it wasn't, are we on for tomorrow? I was like, I'll keep you updated. And we both said we hadn't done research for it yet. That's where we were at. Come on, we just listened to this.
No intention of doing that debate. He didn't say, no, I'm not doing the debate. He said, oh, I don't know. And so all I said yesterday was, look, I'm not buying it. I just said, look, I'm not buying it. Based on those behaviors, what it seems to me is like it's an excuse. It seems to me like Destiny doesn't want to help me too much. He wants to help himself by engaging with me, but not help me more than he's helping himself. And I think he sees that maybe I'm helping myself too much and says, well, let's put some ice on it. Oh, I know. I'm gonna blow something out of proportion and kind of be a little bit sneaky about something, and then quietly bow out of this and try and ice this thing. That's what it seemed like to me. That's my opinion. Now we're gonna review all the evidence, and you tell me if you agree. You tell me if you agree with my assessment, or if you think that Destiny's telling the truth. Because conversely, maybe Destiny's being totally forthright, and he's saying, no, I just really am so concerned about... Hey!
Nick!
Hey, what's up, Stephen Bennell?